in a giddy whirl of picnics by the Seine and trips to the modiste. Napoleon's audacious escape from his island prison had smashed that pleasant idyll. Dmitri had been away, assisting at the Congress in Vienna, and Anya had been naively certain that Bonaparte would be stopped long before he reached Paris. When Marshal Ney defected and turned a large part of the royalist French army over to his former commander, it had come as a nasty shock. Then the troops stationed outside the city walls had defected, and King Louis had abandoned the city. Yelizaveta had urged Anya to do the same, but Anya hadn't wanted to leave for St. Petersburg without Dmitri. His last letter, dated 10 days ago, had said he was accompanying de Borga to Belgium to liaise with the British commander Wellington. And then news had come of the battle near the Belgian town of Waterloo. The Allied British and Prussian troops had defeated Napoleon, but at a terrible human cost. Anya told herself there was no need to worry about Dmitri. He was a diplomat, not a soldier. He wouldn't have been anywhere near the battlefield. He was just too busy to write, that was all. She considered travelling to Brussels herself, but there wasn't a carriage to be had. Almost every wheeled conveyance was being used by panicked citizens to leave the capital. And how could she hope to find him in all the confusion? No, she would stay in Paris and wait for him to come to her. Anya stared down at the glittering stones on the table. She barely recalled the visit from General de Borga. All she remembered was the blood leaching from her face when he told her of Dmitri's death. The sick dread that had clutched her heart, Yelizaveta's arms around her as her grief escaped in noisy, gasping sobs. Now, 2 days later, her tears had dried. A hollow, aching sadness remained. She'd told Yelizaveta they would return to St. Petersburg, but in truth it held little appeal. What was left for her there? A series of beautiful empty palaces filled with the ghosts of happier times. Her parents had died 5 years ago, both carried off by the same fever. Now that Dmitri was gone, her closest male relative was some distant cousin in Moscow, who'd hound her to marry the first fortune-hunting fool who came her way. Her father had refused plenty of suitors over the years. Men like the scheming Vasily Petrov, who hadn't wanted her, merely the cachet that marriage to a Russian princess would bring. Anya was adamant that her union, like that of her own parents, would be based on mutual respect and appreciation, and not financial inducement. She'd seen far too many unhappy arranged marriages at court to consider settling for one herself. After her father's death, Dmitri had done the refusing. Now he was gone too. Pain and grief bawled inside her, but Anya pushed them away. She had to be practical, for Yelizaveta's sake. She pinched off another piece of bread, inserted another diamond, and swallowed it down. Concealing a selection of gemstones inside their clothes was an expedient thing to do, considering the volatile situation outside. It was a long way from Paris to St. Petersburg. 2 women alone would be an easy target for would-be thieves. If Anya's baggage was stolen, they'd have the jewels sewn into the hem of her cloak. And if her cloak was stolen too, well, then the diamonds she'd just swallowed would be a last resort. With bleak humour, she wondered how long it would take for the gems to work their way through her body. A few days, probably. How horrified her former tutors would be to know she'd been called on to make such an obscene calculation. Yelizaveta finished stitching a small pearl choker into the lining of a walking dress and picked up the mangled baguette. "That's quite enough. You'll make yourself sick if you have any more." She scooped the remaining loose jewels into a reticule and folded the newly weighted garments over her arm. "I'll go make us some tea." Tea, in Yelizaveta's opinion, was the answer to everything. After she left, Anya sat listening to the heartbreakingly normal sounds of the street outside. Carts rattled.